Hey guys, Noah here. Welcome back to another Python video. Today we will be going over if statements, which is honestly like our first real coding concept for Python. So as a reminder, make sure to open up your idle. And if you're just joining us for the first time in this video, if you check out the first video in this playlist labeled Python series, I have an entire tutorial about downloading idle and how to use it. So go check that out if you're just joining us and if you have no idea what I'm about to do. But yeah, just as a reminder, this is your output box, file, new file, and then it opens where we can start coding. So let's get right into it. We got if and else statements today, which is honestly it's one of the easier, if not easiest, concepts of coding. Is if something is true, then do this. So first, I'm just going to start off with the syntax of what if statements look like. So start off by typing if, and you notice that it highlights, meaning that it's in Python's library of pre-made words that we are allowed to use in some aspect. So we have if, and then we have parentheses. This is what we're going to put in there to see if this is true. And then we have just a colon. And then you notice when we enter, we get a tabbed over indent. So this is where we're going to write like what we want it to do when it's true. But I'll go over that later when I show you guys some examples of what we can do with this. So I'm just going to move this down just a little bit. So I'm going to put some stuff ahead of it. So the best if statement that you could possibly have is if true, because no matter what, it's always going to do the stuff inside the if statement, because if statements always check if something is true. So you can also have a equals true and a, because a is always true. So once again, that's a perfect if statement in a perfect world where it's always going to happen. And then obviously you can do the same with false, but then it'd just be the worst if statement in the world because it would get no use. So the more common approach of if statements is comparing strings, integers, and floats. So there's a few ways to do that. I'm going to show you. So as a reminder, obviously, we'll have a equal 3. We'll just do integers for this whole thing, and I'll show a string as well, just to show you guys how it works. So we have a equals 3. So we know about the single equal sign. I'll do it up here just so we know about the single equal sign. It's for assigning variables to something. This equals to this. But there's something I like to call it equal equals, or the double equal sign. But basically, that's equivalent. We're good. It's mainly used in if statements, which I'm about to show you, and then while loops, but that's will be in a later video, and then else ifs, which also be in a later video. So what this does, so if we have 3 equal to a, so this does not mean that a is going to be assigned the value of 3 in this if statement, because we can't do that in the if statement. This is checking to see if 3 is now equal to a. I like to say equal, but if 3 is equivalent to a. And up here, yes, it is equivalent to a. So cool. But if a was 4, that's a 3 again. If a was 4, now it wouldn't be equivalent to 3. So now this if statement, it would skip whatever's in here because this is not true anymore. So I can show it with a string actually as well because that'd be cool. Ooh. So if this was, has to be the exact same. The quotes don't matter, but everything inside does. So if hello is equal, I'm going to get that stuck in your head because it's stuck in mine. So if it's equivalent to A, and yes, it is, so then this would be true. But what about for something that we don't want to be true? What if we want A to be, what if we want this to be anything else for A? Like anything else at all. So there's something in Python called not equals, and it's simply, the syntax is simply just the exclamation point and then the equal sign. So this checks if hello is not equal to A. So now that would be false. So here, let me just write, I'll go back to numbers just because I like to see numbers. So is 4 not equal to 3? That's true. So then it'd go inside. And but then if we do this, if is 4 equal to 3? No, it's not, so it's false. But yeah, not equals, equals. And then we have another one, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with. You're greater than, you're less than. It's the exact thing that you're thinking of. Greater than. Is 4 greater than 3? Yes, it is. So it's true. And then it goes right into our if statement. And then we have less than. Is 4 less than 3? No, it's not. It's false. So it's going to skip over this if statement. And then we also have, I'll go back to this, we have greater than or equal to A, defined by this. So is 4 greater than or equal to 3? Which it is. So then it would be true and go in here. And then we have less than or equal to 3. And then there's that. So yeah. So I'll write these down. So I'll go in here, write down. So as a reminder, our comment is the hashtag or the 3. So I'll just write them all down just so you guys see if you go. You have this for equals. I'll call it equal because I like to do. It's just equivalent. And then you got not equals, not equal to. And then you have this, which is, well, technically that's your less than, but it doesn't matter. Less than, you got greater than. I highly recommend you guys do this as well. It's a good thing just to have. Greater than or equal to. And then, oh, wrong one. I don't know why that just showed up on my screen. Less than or equal to. Yeah, I recommend you guys put that down too, because those are the main ones you're going to be using for your if statement. But yeah, so now we'll have this. Yeah, because 3 is less than. So now, notice the indent here, just showed you guys before. So now, once this is true, so if this is true, and then you have your semicolon or your colon, and then obviously indented, meaning you're inside of the if statement. Now this is your then part. Then do this. So I'm just gonna have it print anything. You can have it print hello. I don't know why I like saying hello, but so we'll run it. Wow. So that's my fault. 4 is not less than or equal to 3. 4 is greater than or equal to 3. So there's your hello. Now you're saying hello to you before it was saying nothing. But yeah, it just shows you that it actually works and that the code's actually working. It's doing what it's supposed to do. So yeah. So if this is true, then do everything inside of here. So just to get out of it, because like if you just keep it enter, it's gonna keep in there. Just hit the backspace button. Like if you're here, just hit backspace, and then you can just start typing whatever you want again. So those are if statements. I think they're pretty straightforward. You can do basically everything with them. Like I feel like if statements for the rest of your coding lives, you're going to be using if statements no matter what. So the next thing we have is else statements. So these are even easier than if statements. So you have your if, your parentheses, and then your colon, and then your else literally is just else. Make sure it's right after your if statement and all of this though. So you have your if here, and then immediately after you have your else, and then you have your colon and enter. So basically what if does, or if else does together. So if this is true, it's going to do this, and then it'll just skip else completely. Doesn't matter. But if this is false, then we're going to go down to the else and do whatever's in else. So I'll have it print by, and I'll change it back just to show you guys. So if 4 is less than a, so a is up here is 3, so that's going to be false. So it's not going to do what's in here because this is false. Instead, we have an else statement. It's going to hop on over, and then it's going to print by. Hopefully, I said the right thing this time. I did. So there you go, yeah. So if it's true, it's going to do everything inside of here. And then obviously the indent, just remember that. And then if it's false, if you have an else statement immediately after, it's going to go over and hit everything inside of the else statement. So, that's just a reminder. I'd highly suggest honestly taking these down. Just put them in your notes or something like that. Take a screenshot or whatnot. So that's really all I have for if and else statements. It's simple or as hard as you want to make it, but this is just the basic foundation of them. And actually, I will mention one more thing because it could be interesting or not. There's two more built-in words for Python. It's called and or. So basically, they sound exactly how they're going to be written. We have and then you have or. I'm not going to talk too much about them in this video because I'll use them kind of progressively as we're going through. I don't want to like make it like a whole like separate thing you guys got to worry about. But we have and, for example, I'll say this. So, cool. So basically, this has two checks now that we need to get in. So it's checking if 4 is greater than a, and a is 3, so yes, and if a is equal equivalent to 3, which it is. So now this means it has two checks it has to look for now. And you can stack ands as many times as you want. I don't recommend doing it a lot, but it's going to check for both of these to be true. And if both of these are true, it's going to print hello. And both of these are true. So if you run this, it should print hello. But even if just one of them are false, so this one's true, and now this one is false, prints by. Because now one of these are false, so it's not going to do it. So for and statements, both of them have to be true. And then there's one called or, which is just simply by writing or. Now only one of them has to be true. So this one has to be true, or this one has to be true. So if we run it, look at that. But both of them could be true, and it would still work. As long as one of them are true, it doesn't really matter. And then if none of them are true, obviously, it's going to go to the else statement. I'm not going to go any further than that. There's a lot more you can do with them, but that's just the basic of it. I won't put any more on you guys for this video. What I will do is give you a short little quiz just to make sure that you got it and just something we can go over. So, write an if statement that checks if a variable b is greater than or equal to 5. So make a variable b, see if it's greater than or equal to 5, and then if it is, print, I'll have you print greater than. And then else, print nope. That's it. So write an if statement that checks if a variable b is greater than or equal to 5, and then if it is, print greater than, else, print nope. Bonus points if inside of the if statement you can add and if a variable b is equal to 6. So that's what those and statements that I showed you before. Bonus points if you can do it. If not, I don't really expect you could, but we're just going to see. So yeah, take a minute, pause the video, and I'll go over it. Did you do it? I hope so, because I'm about to go over it. Alright, so write an if statement that checks if a variable b is greater than or equal to 5. So first off, we have to make a variable b. So b, and we're going to set it equal, we'll say to 7. So write an if statement. So we have if, and then our parentheses, then our colon, and then we'll go back. Okay, so we have to check if b is greater than or equal to 5. Okay, cool. So there's our parameter for it. Okay, if it is, it says to print, if I can type, greater than. Cool. Is that all it wants? Oh, else. Okay, so remember, tab over, hit the backspace, and then right after, or else, the colon, print nope. So then we're gonna print nope. Cool. Oh, and there's a bonus. And if variable b is equal to 6. So for the first part, if it looks code looks anything like this, you have an if with the b is greater than or equal to 5, print greater than, print to nope, you got full credit. Now for the bonus, and if variable b is equal to 6. So let's try that. So we say and b is equal to 6. There you go. That's it. There's your bonus points. You get a 2 out of 1 if you got that. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys in this video. In the next video, we will be going over functions, which is arguably the most important thing in any coding language, obviously Python included. So yeah, if you guys have any questions at all, just leave a comment. I'll make sure to respond to it as fast as possible. Make sure to join the Discord and subscribe if you're interested, and hope to see you guys in the next video. Thank you.